What's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Show number 2. What show is it? Ooh, where am I? What's going on? Show number 215. There you go. Show number 215. I mean, 215 times I have sat in front of this computer doing this show. Actually, it's been more because we've done bonus shows and all that. So, you know what's going to be crazy when we get to show number 365, and I can say with a straight face, I've spent a year of my life doing this show. So there you go. What's up, Vinny? How are you, buddy? Hope you're feeling all right. Michael Tittle, Grunge and Grime. What's up, bro? Okay. Hey, Mr. Wall Street, welcome back, man. Good. Nice to see old friends come back around and sniff at the carcass. Come on now in Scotland, Robert Hogg. What's happening, bro? How's everybody doing on this Sunday shout-out day? Shout it, shout it, shout it out loud. I put a spell on you. Yeah. Lori Dawn in Cape Cod. Philip, what's up? John, what's up? I'll put a spell on you. Yeah, you know what? Hey, Chris Hoffman, what's up? Debo, what's up? Good, it's a Sunday. If you're here in America, happy Labor Day weekend. Fort Wayne, Indiana. There you go. What's up, Chris? How's things in lovely Fort Wayne? How's things in Long Island? You know? Hey, how's things in Long Island?
Long Island's all right.
Hey, I put a spell on you. I'll put a spell
mine.
on you.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a parked car here across from my sister's house.
In a parked car, huh?
Yeah, well, I got some family birthday business today, so I figured this would be a quiet spot to do it and then just jump right into the eating.
Yep. Yes, rest in peace. That's definitely on the. We want to dedicate this show to Kevin Sia from Bulldoze, who passed away. Another soldier goes down. Kevin from Bulldoze and Terror Zone, and rest in peace, Kev. And also, you know, Kev was a part of this. Pretty much, I don't want to use the term iconic, but you know, this show, this shot from the Biohazard Punishment that we did, you see him up top there, next to Saab, who passed away a while back as well.
That is a great shot.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. The two guys, I believe the two guys in this picture that have passed on are standing next to each other in this shot up top. Yeah.
I can't help but laugh at the one guy in the white shirt.
Yeah.
It's like the sore thumb.
We've broken down like everybody who everyone in this photo is, and somebody recently, like there's one or two guys are like, who's that guy? You know, and what recently like that got solved, you know. There's like one or two that are like, who's that? Who let that guy in? You know?
The man in white.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Kev, and a pioneer of beatdown hardcore, you know? So beat down. Hey, before we do photo of the day, before we do that, let's talk about the next couple of shows coming up because they're kind of great.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the Biohazard video, these are some great shows. There will be no show this Wednesday. I am going up to the Massachusetts area to be a part of the opening of the Bridge 9 store.
Nice.
Me and the female unit are going up and going to spend a couple days up in Salem, and we're going to be there for that. And then Sunday we have a Bowery Electric show with Y-Die and Murderers Row and Crazy Eddie and Winterwolf and Orlando Furioso. We will be back Wednesday, September 14th, back with a bang with Mr. Don Fury. And then legend. The Sunday after that, Paris Mayhew will be on. We will be talking about our music video collaborations that we've done. There was quite a few of them, you know. Sunday, September 25th, Steve Whale from The Business. And then Wednesday, September 28th, Yana Chupenko will be on the show. So, yep, Larry Kelly. Larry Kelly's been up there, up at Bridge 9. They're working on it. What's happening, Scrumpy? From Wellington, New Zealand. Come on now.
Wow.
Always like to see new faces or new names in the chat room, right? Yeah, Lori, we're looking forward to seeing you too. We're coming up. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. You know, I want to draw your attention. Hey, Victoria, how are you? You know, hey, Court, how you doing? I want to draw everyone's attention to the Stephen Messina, Rich Zola, Tim Daly photo show that's going down on Saturday, September 17th at C Squat in the basement.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
Legendary C Squat.
Are you nervous?
I'm so ready for this. I've been like preparing every night behind the scenes and just really excited. And it's going to run for a couple of weeks afterwards, which is really cool. And just all three of us have been hammering away with the prints and just picking out. It's like trying to choose children, you know? Like, I got a lot of years of archive to go through, but it's just really looking forward to this. And, you know, just an honor to have my stuff alongside Tim Daly and Rich Solar and, you know, just tremendous photographers. And it's going to be exciting, you know?
Is that your Mike Ness shot?
That is my Mike Ness shot, yes. Yes, that's a shot from each of us right there. So
Larry Kelly says he's super bummed he can't go. He's driving to Chicago for the Misfits.
That's a pretty good excuse, I would say, Larry Kelly.
But not only is he going to miss that, but that night in Staten Island, you know, we're playing this this benefit with RBNX, The Last Stand, Cropsey, Enrage, Engage.
That's a serious bill.
We've changed our name to Engage. Hello, boys.
We're no longer enraged.
We're not enraged anymore. We're Engage. So we're playing with Sworn Enemy, Engage, Cropsey, The Last Stand. Yeah, that's happening after your photo show.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, you could really make a whole day of hardcore out of it, you know? And our thing ends about an hour before this one begins, so I'm going to do my best to try to make it over there myself. So.
Well, listen, the first band ain't playing at 5 o'clock, bros.
Right, that's what I mean, and it's all solid, you know, friends of ours and great bands. So it's going to be an awesome day.
How about we do photo of the day?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hold on a second. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, hey. This is photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. There you go. Wrong answers only, please. What do we have here? Nice guitar. Nice Gibson. Is it Caravan to C Squat from beautiful Staten Island?
There we go.
Is it Mick Jagger? Mick Jagger plays guitar on stage.
He does, actually.
I don't know if it's plugged in. He like dances around with it and like. I saw some footage fairly recently. I'm like, is that even plugged in? He's like dancing around with a Gibson SG and like. I think he plays guitar on like Respectable or something. He like, you know, is it
He's still a monster harmonica player though?
Yeah, he gets props for. Mick Jagger gets props for his harmonica playing. He does.
Oh, for sure.
Is it James Taylor? Is it Eagle Eye Cherry?
Wow, that's
Is
a
it
name from the past.
is it Sheryl Crow? Is it Rod Stewart? Rod Stewart.
Hmm.
Is it Pete Steele? Is it East Bay Ray? Okay. Is it Greetings People? Is it Incubus Unplugged? Is it Kurt Hammett? Is it Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp is like become a bizarre. I mean, maybe I'm just noticing, but like Johnny Depp's like a bizarre character now. Like like he's just like a total weirdo.
Yeah, that whole Amber Heard thing really took him over the rainbow. So
He's just like he's like a bizarre character. Is it Kenny Loggins? Is it Yanni? Is it Paris Mayhew? Is it John Frusciante? Good one. Good one. Actually, it kind of does. Is it Kenny G?
everyone's going with the curly hair guys.
Is it Yanni?
It's Yanni Rotten.
Yeah, is it Yanni? Yanni Rotten. That's. You know what? I don't know if I like Yanni or not. I just don't like how he back then how he looked. So I'm like, yo, fuck Yanni. I don't even know what
he's like a Kenny G guy. Like
I don't even know. I don't even know what Yanni sounds like. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck Yanni, bro.
He probably lives in a castle somewhere.
Yo, you know what? Yanni's probably dope, but I'm just sort of like, I'm like I'm ignorant in my Yanni-ness. Is it Caitlyn Jenner? All right, here's another one. For all you Yanni fans out there. All right, there's another one. Not that this gives way. All right, here we go. Is it a gluten-free motherfucker? Is it Chris Cornell?
There we go.
Is it Chris Cornell? Is it Chris Cornell?
It is Chris Cornell.
Is it? What is it?
This was Chris Cornell going back to Webster Hall. I believe this is 2008 or 2009. One of his solo shows, and always tremendous. I'm a big Cornell fan, and this particular lineup of the band, he had the guitar player that had used to be in Buck Cherry playing with him on this show. And they actually shaved the guitar player's head on stage at the end of the night. But Cornell was just
bend over?
Just a tremendous, tremendous voice, and easily one of my favorite singers of the last few decades.
Rest in peace, Chris Cornell.
And yet another one from the 90s that's no longer with us. Like all these great talents from that era that all kind of came and went. There's only a few survivors now.
True.
But Webster Hall, always a great place to see anybody,
Right on. All right, there you go. Are you going to be hanging out in your car for a while?
No, I'm going to go inside and eat some antipasto, and I'll come back after the end.
Your antipasta. Your anti.
That's right. I forgot to send you the usual picture of the antipasta.
No, did you see the thing that Johnny Z, who was on our show, who passed away, they're auctioning off all his stuff. Well, not all his stuff, but
I did see that. It's some good shit there.
Including the Anthrax audition tape.
The rumor has it that you might be on that tape.
I think it's not everybody that auditioned. It's like the top 24. I don't think I'm on there, but I put in a
what song? Do you remember what song you sang?
Antisocial. That's what reminded me of it.
Oh, nice.
No. Time. What's that one?
Got the Time. Got the Time by Joe Jackson. Yeah.
Bro, I lasted like 10 seconds. They were like, "Ding, next." I'm like, "Wake up, ding, next." It was a publicity stunt,
It was like an assembly line.
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny that
I put a bid on it. Oh,
did you? Yeah, that's.
Yep.
I'd love to see the rest of the. I'd love to see the auditions.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get it on. I'll talk to you later. You're welcome.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
All right. Later. Well, there you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Dewolfe Publishing, and Grunge and Grime Soap Company. They're a handmade soap and skincare company with a rock and roll spirit based in lovely, scenic Nashville, Tennessee. They combine their love for rock music and their love for creating products that are good for your skin and good for your soul. Since the year of our God, 2019, they've been creating high-quality, natural, handmade soaps and skincare products with ethically sourced and sustainable ingredients. They give 10% of the net proceeds to local and community outreach programs. Visit the website at www.grungeandgrime.com and enter the code DREW and get 20% off your first order. Come on now, the Texas Silver Rush. It's a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. Goddamn electric. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres, both country and Western, to design and create unique one-off pieces as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. That said, let's bring our guest on. Let's clear the deck. See, we don't have any interlopers. We have no interlopers in the chat room. Let's get it on. Let's bring our guest on. Today's guest is an American guitarist and songwriter hailing from the mother of President's state of Virginia. He is known for his work with the bands Scream, Wool, DYS, Smith & Pyle, Jay, and Foo Fighters. Please welcome, coming at us from lovely Los Angeles, California, Mr. Franz Stahl. Hey, man.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning out there, huh?
Yeah. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah. Is it like 300 degrees out there?
It's been like that for several weeks now. I was in it for like 14 hours yesterday.
Oof.
Like 112 at least.
What do you live in the valley? Are you in the valley?
I live in the valley, yes.
Ooh.
The infamous valley. Yeah. But it's like that all over Los Angeles right now, everywhere.
It's just brutal.
I love your production. I love your production going on here. It's awesome.
Hey, man. Welcome to show number 2. Welcome to show number 215, man.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's been a great ride, and we got a great worldwide audience. We're just living it, man. It's great. So let's jump into it. What's the latest? How are you coming out of the pandemic? My God. Bring us up. Like, how did you get through it? Bring us up to speed.
Where do I begin? We got through it just like everybody else got through it. Mm-hmm. Isolating and taking up bad habits and everything like that. But we filled all that time, or I did, and my brother writing this new Scream record, which we just recorded in September, and we're still in the middle of mixing it. It's been a very long process for a lot of reasons. We just mixed some of it a few weeks ago, more of it.
Did you record it out there, or?
No, we recorded it at Inner Ear. We're the last record.
With Don?
Yeah, with Don and Ian and Joey P.
Oh, wow.
And man, a host of people. And it was the last record done at Don's. And
now Don moved?
He did move.
I see he's doing stuff in his basement now.
Yeah, he's back to the original in his fucking basement.
That's crazy. Like for those out there that may not know, Don, recorded in his basement. That's where the Minor Threat stuff was recorded, right? Yeah,
absolutely. And that's where, the Black Dots record, the Bad Brains stuff, the infamous, where HR, the band was in the basement playing, and they cut everything one song after another live because they wanted it to be like a live performance. Right. So they tracked every song one after another, and HR was in the backyard singing the whole time.
Wow. Without
the band and some headphones.
Wow.
And that's a famous story about that studio. But yes, now it's really weird because it's gone full circle. We did our first record at Don's home studio in the house.
Still screaming?
Correct. And, you know, all these years later, we come back and we end up doing the last record at Inner Ear.
That's great.
And not only that, we go into back to his house where he set up the studio once again, and we started mixing some songs there.
That's funny because, like, for him, it's probably like, you know what? Enough already with this shit. I'm bringing it back home. I'm setting up the studio back in the basement. I own the house, right? Like, enough with this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he would have, well, for obvious reasons, would have liked to stay in the building that he was at. But he's certainly happy with coming back home and just the next chapter in his life.
Right.
I don't think it. Go ahead.
Wasn't Scream just in Poland?
Yes, we were.
Yeah, fill us in on that.
We played there, what was it, the 14th of July? No, 9th of July. Played in Poland at this festival with Soulside and Girls Against Boys in Lublin.
Lublin, Poland.
Yes. It was crazy. It was really
I've actually been there.
To Lublin.
Yeah. Yep.
For music, or you have relatives?
Well, no, you know, when I was doing the street bike films back in the day,
right.
We went to Poland to do a stunt bike show, and I filmed the whole thing and released it as part of one of my street bike films. Let me see. Do I have a picture somewhere? Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Stone in Poland. Hold on. Oh, man. Get a load of these.
You know, it's only an hour away from the Ukraine border, which was it's crazy.
All right, look at these photos that are coming up. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is a cool shot. This is me and all the Polish stunt bike riders. The show we did was in Lublin, and here I am on the left with the whole, and that's Chris Teach McNeil in the middle. This is like the whole Polish crew. They were so excited that we came over.
I'm sure.
You know? Yeah. Oh, and Tony D Freestyle's behind him. Yeah, that was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, those were great times.
Yeah, I mean, it had been planned further back, and we weren't sure it was going to happen because at any day, you know, we just thought the war would spill over or something crazy would happen and it would get canceled. But we ended up going, and it was the most wonderful small little trip.
Now this is you, Skeeter, and is that the guitar player for Soulside?
That's Bobby Sullivan, the singer.
The singer. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
That's me, Skeet, and Bobby, and it was a really magical few days, and it wouldn't have been that way without us hooking up with Soulside and Girls Against Boys.
Cool.
It was our first trip to Poland, and you know, we don't know anybody, and it was all kind of very weird in a way. And all the bands stayed at one hotel.
Right.
I got to see Square Pusher, who I was a big fan of. He did a set. You know anything about Square Pusher?
I do not. No. Now, is this is the whole gang here, right?
That's the whole gang, yeah.
Yeah, cool shot.
Brian from Discord, my brother here, you can all messed up.
Yep.
Scott, me, and Ski, and Jarek, who's the drummer that filled in.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Was it one show? You did one show?
We did one show there, and then
that's a lot of traveling for one show, man.
Well, we were trying to get some other shows prior to leaving, and that didn't happen. We did one other show in Prague, like 2 days later, a day or so later, and then we took a train down to Berlin and hung out with Mr. Dave Pollack and talked about booking some shows and a tour for the following year.
Cool.
So we spent a day in Berlin. And then came back. Yeah, it was a very whirlwind kind of trip, and I wish we'd gotten to play more.
Here's a quick question, being that we're sort of dancing on it from Astoria Lou. Will the new record be on Discord?
Yes, it will.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to make our way to this stuff, but you know, I didn't realize that, you know, you guys are like a real Discord band. This is like what, your 4th or 5th release on Discord?
Correct.
Wow, they must love you over there.
I don't know. I mean, some people thought that it wasn't going to happen at all because we had 10 days to do 17 songs, and
wow.
And a few people thought it would just be a complete disaster, which made me want to complete it even more. And it was crazy. We did 17 songs in 10 days. We had a whole cast of characters come in and play on the record, which I could tell you. But I was just a wreck after that. I mean, it was quite the production that we did.
Is this photo related to this recording session, which I have labeled Stahl Brothers and Mackay Brothers?
Yep. That's in the alley at the old career. 2 guys with hair and 2 guys with no hair.
Yeah. That's how it kind of goes with the brothers, right? Like one, you know, I ended up, you know, so I hear you, you know.
That is, yeah, that's outside of the old inner ear in the alley.
I just want to say that there's basically like 3 characters that can pull off the hat that Ian is wearing. 1 is Rocky Balboa. 2 is Popeye Doyle from the French Connection. Yeah. And 3 is Ian. Oh, no, there's a 4th. There's a 4th. That's from the Honeymooners. Ed Norton from the Honeymooners.
To the moon.
Yeah. All right.
He's always rocking that hat. He's always.
Yep.
I get in the wintertime, I think, if I remember, he had a more of a knit cap that was kind of like, you know, this weird beanie that he had.
You know, I mean, being that we're kind of here, you know, Still Screaming came out in 1983. Here we are. By the time this thing comes out, it'll probably be 2023. If it is your 4th record, basically you put like a record out on Discord every decade.
Every decade, yeah.
Hey, at least you're consistent, right? That's great.
Well, it takes me that long to write a song.
So let's get into a little bit. Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
I did grow up in a musical household. There was always my father. He managed a band in the '60s called the Hangman, and
who had the regional hit "What a Girl Can Do"?
Girl Can Do, yes.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of surrounded by it through that, obviously. I mean, as a little kid, I used to be brought down to this area to see shows at Peachtree Beach. And it'd be like my dad's band and Jefferson Airplane.
Wow.
Yeah. And I barely remember any of that, but except for just standing next to the drums and being in awe of the drummer because, you know, I was 6 or 7, whatever it was. Just a little kid. And, you know, through that, you know, the love of music just kind of grew, and we were always playing records and listening to singles, and me dancing up and down and jumping up on my bed with a tennis racket pretending to play guitar.
Why did you gravitate to to guitar?
I don't know, to be honest, except maybe to be like my heroes, you know, like Pete Townsend and jumping around and stuff like that.
Right.
And I certainly didn't have the money to buy a drum set, you know, back then. Sure. I don't know. I mean, maybe from a songwriter standpoint, you know, I like writing songs, and obviously you got to do that through an instrument as opposed to a percussion instrument.
Was there a sit down with you and your brother where it was like, okay, I'm going to play guitar, you're going to need to sing? Or was there any sort of, or did you guys just sort of gravitate your own way and then meet back in the middle?
Well, actually, I mean, my brother wasn't so much in the picture in the beginning, but definitely Skeeter and Kent and I were.
Right.
You know, we were all at the same high school together, and him and, you know, Skeeter and Kent and I and other people, we would get together and jam in garages at our friend's house, you know, and just fuck
And
around.
let me just ask, you know, you were farther south from DC. You were in Virginia. You grew up, correct?
Like 15 minutes outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, I see. So it was within striking distance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so Skeeter and Kent and I, we had this, you know, collective love of music, and we'd been jamming around, and then finally we used to have these group houses because that's how we lived back then. A bunch of guys would rent a house, and we'd all, you know, we'd live there, and we would jam in the basement.
Right.
And I was living with my brother at the time, and he just came down and he just got involved and started singing, you know. So we started playing cover songs and stuff like that, and that's pretty much how it all started. I mean, we didn't really have any idea that this would become a band or what the fuck we were doing. We were having fun. We wanted to play rock and roll. We got turned on to this punk rock scene in DC. We wanted to do it even more, and we, you know, we're like, wow, these kids are doing it. We can do this, you know. So we started writing our own stuff, and through our associates in DC, we got to do a couple shows, and it kind of went from there. And then we kind of became this band.
Did early on, I'm assuming you guys made your pilgrimages up into DC. Early hardcore influences, and anybody really inspired you guys early on?
Well, you know, the Minor Threat and the Bad Brains are the biggest influence initially. I mean, as far as the DC hardcore scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything that was coming out of New York City at the time. And also we had this great little station, college station in DC, that was playing all this new wave and all this punk stuff coming out of England. So it was a host of stuff just coming from everywhere.
Is any unsung heroes from that era? Like thinking back, like from the early DC scene, and any kind of unsung heroes, someone that sort of never got there was like a big sort of influence or a big person in that, or a band that kind of never got their sort of just due, and looking back, that you think back on it?
Well, a lot of those bands, they didn't last that long.
Yeah, right. DC was notorious for that.
Yeah,
DC was notorious for that.
Yeah. So they didn't give it long enough to, you know, all the bands were really cool. So they didn't give it enough time, you know. But it's, I don't know really what to say. I mean,
yeah. The I've got a flyer here from January, February, March, April 25th, 1982, and this is in New York. This is at the Peppermint Lounge, and I'm sort of assuming that this could be the first time you guys came up here. It was, you guys were playing a place called the Peppermint Lounge.
okay.
And with you and Jesse Mallon's band Heart Attack. This is at the do you remember this?
I don't really remember the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I certainly remember Heart Attack. We played with them on many occasions up there.
Oh, Paris Mayu from Agro's Cro-Mag says I was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There you go.
All right.
Better memory than I do. And my brother still, you know, stays in contact with Jesse to this day and sees him all the time when he's in town. But yeah.
The Pep.
It was that, and we did play with the Mob a lot. Those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those New York bands.
Here's well, this is later on. I mean, I know we're skipping here. This is later on. This is a Rock Hotel show. What a cool lineup this is at the old. I think this is probably one of the last shows they did at the Rock Hotel. Psycho, Second Wind, Scream, and Void.
Oh my God, Second Wind, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Second Wind was sort of like Minor Threat's like stepson, you know.
Look.
Kind of was, right?
Yeah. Did Void play this show? Do you
I
remember?
wasn't at this show. I do not know. I do not. I was not at this show. Paris once again says I was there. Right. You know, right on.
Well,
Did Void play Paris? Do you
Yeah,
remember Void playing? You know? Yeah. That's a good one, man.
I mean, yeah, Void, that's an unsung hero. Jesus, that band.
Yeah, right.
They didn't last long enough either, but that band certainly didn't get their deserved. They were just fucking awesome. They could hardly get through a set. They would play a song and completely destroy everything. It would take them like 10 minutes to reset up everything and go to the next song.
They played New York. They came out. The singer came out and broke his leg.
Yeah,
like came out first song, boom, broke his leg, end of set.
Yeah, they literally just destroy things while they played, and then have to reach that up again. It was funny.
Hey, Paris says he went to see Scream. Yeah, there you go. I see our friend Al Baril from SSD Control in there. Here's a Boston, DC, from DC Scream up in Boston with Jerry's Kids FU's Last Rites at Salem State.
Salem State? Jesus.
Salem State, Massachusetts. Yeah. Yeah, you guys were doing it, man.
Yeah.
So this, let me find. This go ahead.
No. I just remember the Middle East and Boston and the Channel and that stuff.
Could you give us any perspective on this release, Still Screaming, from 1983? Any memories recording it, or a little? You got anything on this?
Well, it was our first record, and what is it? 19 songs on there.
Yeah, I think so, something like that. Yeah,
they're all like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it in a very short amount of time.
At Inner Ear, correct?
Correct. At the house.
At the house of Inner Ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the sign from the Inner Ear.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Don gave it to me.
Wow. That's cool.
I mean, there's a lot wrapped up in this record. It's our first record. It's our first time that we were really in the studio recording.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we worked so hard, finally comes to fruition in this record. And I mean, it's a pivotal.
Were you guys happy with this when it came out, production wise, and just were you happy with this?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like there was no big budget involved where we could sit in the studio for weeks at a time and track. It was like, all right, do this song, on to the next one.
Right.
And also that's the way, Discord works or Ian works, you know what I mean? There's not much frills or anything like that. They just record the song, do a little mix and put it out and make sure everybody's happy. And that's what we did.
Now, Ian's been involved in a lot of your releases. As a producer, is he just sort of keeping things moving along as a producer? Is he one of those kind of producers?
No, he's very hands-on. He's on the board.
Is that right?
No, very much so. He's on the board. He's mixing. He has ideas about songs, and you could see it. I could, when we did this 17 songs in 10 days, he wasn't sure what was going to happen or if it was even going to, come out very well. And he hadn't heard the music before. And so we're trying to get him like, well, we want you to put this record out. He goes, well, I haven't even heard it yet. And I'm like, well, we really haven't heard it either. I wrote all these songs.
Sure.
We're just going to come record them, and we're going to have 20 motherfuckers come in and play on it with us.
Yeah.
But I could see once he started getting into it, he just kind of does his little chin move as Ian always does. He's taking it all in. But once I saw him bobbing his head to the tracks, and I knew, we had him, and he was really starting to get into it. And But no, he's very hands-on as a producer. He has ideas, production thoughts and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's made quite the transition, from a singer, to being a producer, which he's been doing for years.
The next one after that, This Side Up in 1985, Dr. No was involved in this one a little bit, right?
Yeah. He played piano on it. What was it? Bet You Never Thought. And on the reggae track we did, Still Screaming, reggae version. He was very much involved in that. And it was really cool because I was like, Dr. No, he's like my God guitar player, the band, all that shit. And here he is in the studio with me. And on this record, we had a little bit more time, and we actually worked on the songs and we flushed them out a little more. And Dr. No helped me. He helped me melodically on Bet You Never Thought, and his ideas and stuff on the reggae stuff. It was really cool. It was really fulfilling to me to be a part of that. And
cool. Because
Still Screaming was just like go in the basement, fucking knock out all the songs.
You're on the clock, let's go, right?
And hit the road. But there was a lot more time to get involved with the songs in particular. You know what I mean?
I've always associated you with Les Pauls. Going back this far, were you always a Les Paul guy?
Always a Les Paul guy. I don't know why I gravitated to Les. I don't know how it came in, to be honest. It just happened. When one of my earlier guitars were Les Paul models. So it just kept going from there. And I have the same fucking Les Paul that I've had for 30, 40 years now.
That gold top, same one?
Same top, yeah, right there, yeah.
You carry that? Like that's your main guitar still?
That's my main guitar. I have a couple Epiphones, and I'll use other stuff recording. But that's the main axe. That thing, I've had it forever.
Wow.
I bought it for $400. We were on tour with Don Caballero. Remember that band?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. They're kind of like this fusion punk rock kind of band, like a No Means No kind of thing.
Right.
And I was in need of a guitar, and I bought it for $400, and it's done me right ever since. Yeah.
Wow. Have you had to refret it and stuff?
No.
Really?
Wino from The Obsessed turned me on to these Bill Lawrence pickups, and that's the only thing I've ever done. I mean, it's been cleaned up and dressed a little bit, but that Bill Lawrence pickup is the fucking bomb. And
wow.
I get a lot of compliments on my sound, over the years, and it's like I've played on several different rigs, so I attribute it to this Bill Lawrence pickup.
Sure.
And that's consistency in my sound.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Doing my homework for the show, I came across this, which is when I was in Antidote, we came down and played Rock Against Reagan on the lawn of the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh my God.
You guys were on the bill too. This is 1985, July 4th weekend. It was Antidote, Beefeater, Half-Life, Stetisonic MCs, The Chasers, Scream, and Peace of Mind reggae.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember this show descended into a melee while we were playing. Like there was like some skinheads, like some whole brawl broke out. Like,
right.
Yeah.
As most of them did back then. I mean, we did a few of those.
Yeah.
And we actually did one. I don't remember which year it was, but we played with the Bad Brains.
Right.
And so they were running late, and the Bad Brains were supposed to play. And so, like, right in the middle of our show, they cut the power on us. And my brother just fucking lost it, and he just turns around and he walks straight to the monitor board on the side of the stage and just flips it.
Oh,
I don't know if anybody remembers that.
oh my God.
And then a whole.
I'm sure that went over well.
It did not.
Wow.
So that had to get all resorted out. But yeah, those shows are very crazy, and I don't think they could ever happen again for sure. Definitely not on the mall. They would not allow it anymore.
Yeah, that show we played was like right on the like in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial, right on the mall, man.
Yeah. I wish I was quick enough to pull up a photo, because there's a photo of us on the steps of the mall, not at this Rock Against Reagan, but Scream playing, like a friend of my mother's.
I saw that, and the reflecting pond is right behind you. I just saw that picture today. I
the
wasn't
monument's
able...
right behind us, the evil Klansman, as we call it. Yeah.
Crazy. Just going down the line a little bit. After that record, what's the other one? Oh, Banging the Drum. But you guys, this record, let me find it. Hold on, I got it. Is it No More Censorship I'm looking for? What am I looking for?
In regards to what?
The record that was on Ross Records. It was like on a different label.
Yeah, No More Censorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Ross Records.
And that sort of came back around. Wasn't that re-released a couple years ago?
Yeah, it was. It was remixed and re-released on Southern Lord Records.
Mm-hmm.
And we remixed it at Dave's studio at 606.
In Dave Grohl's place.
Yeah.
Here it is. I got it. This one.
In the Valley.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that was in 1988 that came out on Ross Records. I guess that was the first record that Dave was drumming on with you guys, right?
Correct.
And did when Ross Records, how does Scream end up on Ross Records, bro? How did that happen?
I don't remember exactly how it happened. Just Gary, the owner of the label, he just came up to us, and I don't remember the impetus to him signing us. We were looking, because number one, we had more material, and Discord wanted us to wait another decade. I'm just kidding. And we had a bunch of new stuff, and we wanted to get it out there and get on the road. And Mr. Goldfarb, we met him somehow. I don't remember the story, to be honest. But it was a weird matchup, because this is a reggae label, and we were their first rock production they were putting out. And it was really crazy going to Ross Records itself back then. We had all these hardcore reggae dudes, Yellow Man, and I mean, they're all packing guns and just like,
that's wild.
It was hardcore, and
that's wild.
We're just a bunch of white dudes from.
We were just like, hey, we're the White Devil. Hi, we're the White Devils.
Yeah, we're the White Devils.
Where were they? Where were they based? Where was Ross Records based?
They're in Maryland.
Okay.
And we did that original record at Lion and Fox Studio, which was like right on the border of DC and Maryland. And that record that record is something else. I always refer to it as the Exile on Main Street record, because we just went real stupid with it. And
now at that point, Scream had a second guitar player, right?
Yes, Harley.
Yeah, I remember him, and I remember him seeing you play with him. He was a flashy guitar player.
He was a very flashy guitar player. He had the fingerless gloves and the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. He had makeup on.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I mean, it was hard enough early on, because we're a bunch of kids from Northern Virginia. We don't really look at punk rock to be accepted in the DC scene,
Right.
And so it was it took a while for us to warm up to people. And then we just come in there and just smoke the place. And when Harley joined the band, it was really strange. And it really freaked everybody out. We'd go in DC and do a show, and here's this guy who's a total metalhead with makeup on.
Right. Who's like he's like a, in lack of a better term, he was a shredder.
He was a shredder. Yeah. No, great guitar player. And
yeah,
I always looked on back to that, thinking that, because DC was a very small scene, and it was kind of very protective in a way, and everybody kind of looked the same. They had this uniform, and to me, I look back on it, and I was thinking that, Harley coming in there and freaking everybody out with his eye makeup on and his fingerless gloves, that he was more independent and he was more punk rock than everybody else.
Yeah,
he didn't give a fuck what anybody thought, and this is
right. God bless him. God bless him.
And I always felt that that was really punk rock to me in a way in that situation. Sure. But yeah,
I saw you guys in this era, and it was a lot. It was like
it was a lot.
It was. Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It was really fun playing with a second guitar player. It opened up the music, and we could do more. And
you've always seemed open to me to other guitar players and playing with other people.
Yeah, well, that's what playing music is about. And
right.
And I particularly wanted another guitar player, to broaden the scope of the sound.
Yeah.
And I think some guys copied us. I think even Minor Threat got a second guitar player to do, or switched up to have two guitar players.
Yeah, they brought in another bass player.
Yeah.
Brian Baker moved to guitar. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
But that was that era. There was a lot of bands, Agnostic Front, Black Flag. I mean, Black Flag was like the first one that sort of set it into motion. But,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's what was kind of happening there,
Yeah, that's my favorite era with Dez playing guitar. I love that.
Oh yeah, we just talked about that on I just did a show with Jerry A from Poison Idea, and we were talking about how they were severe when Dez moved to second guitar. When Henry first joined, they were unbelievable, man.
It was smoking.
Yeah. So how did Dave Grohl end up in Scream? He's a young kid here. How did he come across your radar screen?
He's a young kid, just like everybody else. He was going to shows and hanging out, and word got around that we were looking for a drummer, because we were about to go on tour, and Kent had a child. Well, they had a child who wanted to stay home, so he couldn't do it. He didn't want to do it anymore. So, and we put up flyers and stuff like that. And so word got out, and Dave hit us up, and we brought him in for an audition. And I think I sat down with him in the basement somewhere for maybe 5 minutes, and we just powered through the whole first record. And I just, that's all it took, I was on the phone. I said, I think we have our drummer here.
and someone just said not that young. He was young. He was like 17, right?
Yeah. And our first tour with him, some clubs out in the Midwest or wherever, some clubs, they wouldn't allow him in the club. He'd have to sit out in the van.
Wow.
Until we went on, and then he would come in and play.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow.
Some places were, more lenient, and it was all right. But yeah, no, he had to sit out in the van.
And here's a shot of him and the Stahl brothers fairly recently.
That's at Inner Ear, and we just did this record. Yeah.
Boy, you weren't kidding, boy. Everybody came by, huh?
Everybody did.
Everybody came through.
Dave played on it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Alec came in and sang on some stuff and some gang vocals in the back.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
You guys in the cigarettes, huh? You guys smoking, man.
So, God, don't mention that.
That's fantastic. That here's an is this who?
I think my brother's in the comments.
Yeah, I think so. Who's in this photo with you? Is it Don? No.
Yeah, no, it's Don.
Okay,
I
almost don't recognize an older version of Don.
Yeah, no, he looks the same. I mean, the short hair and the shorts, like,
yep,
he's ready to go hit some waves, which he
with the flip flops.
Yeah, that's the Don look right there.
Yeah,
100%. No, that's Dave and I and Don.
Yeah, it's your brother. I smoke the mic. Yeah, that's your brother. Hey, Pete. Welcome, Pete.
Yes.
Yeah, and thanks for posting the show around, Pete. Appreciate it. Terrence says, I saw Grohl play drums at the Middle East. Right, at the Middle East. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was always a pleasure.
The good old Middle East. Let's see what else do I have here that you sent me a bunch of stuff, bunch of cool stuff. And while we're sort of we're exercising the Scream catalog before we move on. The record Fumble. Is it safe to say this was recorded? It was recorded in '89, and it sort of languished for a couple years, and then Dave kind of did his Nirvana thing, and then you guys came back around and went back into the studio and finished it. Is that right?
Well, it came out in 93. Yeah, we did it in 89, and it came out in 93. And obviously, Dave was no longer in the band when that came out.
He sings on a song though, right?
Oh yeah, God's Look Down, absolutely. Him and my brother both do it. That's his song. That's Dave's song. He wrote it too.
Wow. Any perspective on this record? I was actually doing my homework and listening to this, this morning, and interesting record. I mean, did it get recorded and sort of put on the shelf because you guys took a hiatus, or what was the timeline?
Well, going out on the road as usual, but I mean that record is a result of the hangover from No More Censorship. We did this crazy No More Censorship record, and we weren't entirely happy with it after it came out.
I see.
And it didn't, we didn't really think it sounded like us, or at least the record didn't sound like us. And, so we went back in the studio, and I remember, Dave and I going in the basement and I had these 5 or 6 songs, and we just wanted to keep everything stripped down because it's a very straightforward record. It's just, there's not a lot of sugar on it and all this other stuff.
Right.
Just a straight kind of a rock record. Except,
which of course is very reflective of 1989 when you recorded it, right?
A lot of Voivod back then.
Yeah.
Wrote this record, and whatever else. But Caffeine Dream, that's a ripping punk rock. Fucking, that's straight up Bad Brains influence.
Yep.
So
let's listen to it this morning. Dewolfe says, "Banging the Drums, an epic record. Did they just skip past that?" Well, we kind of did a little bit, but
yeah, we did skip past it.
We kind of did. We kind of skipped past it and went right to No More Censorship.
Yeah, we actually recorded half of that. We're banging the drum in England at Southern Studios.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Any perspective on Banging the Drum?
That's a very strange record. What year did that come out? 86?
I have it as 86, correct.
86. God, let's see if I can remember.
Why England?
Well, because Discord Rough Trade and whatever. Discourse Distribution was going through that through Southern Lord.
I see. Sure.
And that's our association with them.
Yeah.
And so we were over there doing some shows or whatever, and we ended up recording a track, some stuff. Right. And that's how that came about. And the other portion of it was done here, back in DC. Yeah,
makes sense. Wait, here's. Dare I ask? Is this another one of the cast of characters that makes an appearance on the new record?
Absolutely, he does.
Wow, we love this guy, bro. This guy, I love this guy, man.
Yeah, so do I. Well, he's like in what, 4 bands right now?
Yeah, he's this guy lives it, man. You know.
He
does.
He certainly has lived it.
He has got to live his musical dream, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
I've always liked Brian Baker, going back to, when we came down the early 80s to DC and always been a really great guy. Like this guy a lot. Yeah.
No, I mean, on this new record, one of the tracks I wrote, and in thinking about people playing on the record, I mean, I wrote this one song and he's the first person that came to mind. That and this kind of song that's a little ode to the Damned that I wrote, plays on that as well. And he was the obvious choice for that because him and I are both huge Damned fans.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Damned have been playing around lately. They were just in New York. They were just in New York twice. Yeah.
They're out with Blondie, correct?
Yeah, they're out with Blondie. Yeah. Chris Stein's not playing in Blondie, but it's Debbie and Clem is playing drums, and they're doing it. My gal went. She said they were great.
But the captain's not on this tour, sadly.
That's right. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, let me take a sponsor break, and let me shout out some sponsors, announce a couple upcoming shows, and let's come back and let's talk a little bit about Wool and Foo Fighters and so on and so forth. All right.
All right. I'll see you in a few minutes.
See you got about 7-8 minutes. So and go. What's happening? You asked for it. You got it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We're doing the do. And now a word from our sponsors. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
How about that? I could actually get up and stretch my limbs for a moment. Yeah, trying to mix it up a little bit. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and Dewolfe Publishing. I want to mention a couple of things. Coming up a week from today in La Ciudad de Nueva York, Sunday matinees are back on the Bowery. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles proudly presents the Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series. It's free. It's all ages. Bring the wife and that booger-eating kid of yours. Winter Wolf, Orlando Furioso, Murderers Row, Crazy Eddie, Why Die, DJ the Governor, a.k.a. Frankie Too Far, Come on down. That is a week from today, right? A week from today. You know what? While we're at it, on this kind of DC tip, I want to announce a show on Sunday, November 6th. Being we're talking a little DC here, Mr. Tom Lyle from Government Issue will be on the show. Talking about some more Discord stuff, some John Stahl, Government Issue, Tom Lyle, Sunday, November 6th. Also want to mention we got a big banger coming up in our beloved Tompkins Square Park. This is a very cool show. Listen, everybody do what they got to do to make sure it doesn't rain. Do the voodoo that you do, Saturday, September 24th in Tompkins Square Park. 24/7 Spies, Rebel Manic, Hardcore Acoustic with Eugene Hutz from Go-Go Bordello, Incendiary Device. It is going to jump off tonight. And Butterbrain, who I just saw last night, who were on our last show, Aaron Collins. This is a free show in Tompkins Square Park. Come on now. Everybody get your asses down to the park. Let's have a good time. What else do I need to mention? Oh, yeah. You know what? How about supporting this show? I know you're wondering, how can I do it? Love this show and I want to support it. Funny you should ask. There's the Patreon page. We just did a Patreon show with Alan Robert from Life of Agony, talking about his other music project. And that said, if you're a patron, you get the book for free, the New York Hardcore Chronicles. And Bob Riley. You know what? So join Patreon, will you? Let's keep this party going. Bob Riley, Troy, New York represent. Skeeter Thompson, Troy, New York represent. I know you guys up there. It's John Stab. Stab. I've heard it both ways. Perhaps it's Stab. We'll ask Tom Lyle. Rampage Fest 4 is coming up. That's right. Where is Rampage Fest 4? Where's my flyer? Oh, yeah. Rampage Fest 4 is coming up upstairs and downstairs, brought to you by Heggs, Kevin Hegarty, and the New York Hardcore Chronicles. And, so Rampage Fest 4 is happening on Sunday, November 13th with Death Cycle, The Last Stand, Fire is Murder, Neck Scars, Down Low, Pembroke, and Concrete Burial. 1 block away from CBGB's Rampage Fest 4, brought to you by Heggs. There you go. What else? Oh, I want to shout out my latest patrons, Rick Dennis, James Elliott, and Mikhail Eframasan. Thank you for supporting this show. Appreciate it. Really do. People support the show. That's why this show friggin' happens, to be honest with you. So please, if you come on board as a patron, we'll send you the book. It's free. If you don't want to join, let's say you want the book anyway, and you don't want to join patron, which is just unacceptable, it can be purchased at www.stonefilmsnyc.com. Buy the book, support the show. Just figure it out. God damn, figure it out. So that said, yes, Why Die? Yes, Why Die is playing a week from today at the Bowery Electric. How about the Don Foos Organic Grill event? While we're speaking of Organic Grill, Don Foos is coming to town to do a book signing for his new book, Motivate Me. The next day, we are playing the Bowery Electric, and Don's going to come up and do a couple of Minor Threat songs with us. Yes, Skeeter, thank you. Much love for you too, Skeeter, and we got to get you on the show one of these days. Good to see Butterbrain and Rockaway. Yes, Astoria Lou. That said, Let me clear the deck. You see, let's clear the deck. Let's keep, let me see. Anything else? Anything else? Waiting for our guests to come back. Anything else I need to know? Here's to you. Yeah, we went to rock last night. We went to, what was the place we saw Butterbrain? Gallagher. Is it Gallagher's? They played outdoors at Gallagher's last night. It was nice. We were hanging out on the sidewalk. Check your email. What are you sending me during the bro? I'm doing a show. All right? Fuck you sending me? I don't oh, okay. All right, that's cool. I'll post this. That's cool. Meanwhile, up at Bridge 9 Records, yo, I got to shout out Bridge 9 Records, Larry Kelly, and Chris Wren. It's going down right now up at Bridge 9 Records. On the, what is that, a 50-inch TV? That's great, man. And yeah, I'll be up there. We'll be up there. Me and Rochelle will be up there for the big Bridge 9 opening. So we're looking forward to that. That said, let's bring our guest back on, Mr. Franz Stahl. Oh, hey, man.
Hey, I'm back.
Yes, you are.
Boy, that went by quick.
I'm telling you, man. Things, people go 2 hours. The show's 2 hours. I go, believe me, it feels like 10 minutes.
I know. I'm sure.
It goes
fast. I feel like there's just so much to touch on that we didn't really touch on, and it just goes by so quickly.
Yeah, we give towards the end. We let people ask questions. Skeeter, your man Skeeter says.
Yeah, no, I know. And like to Skeeter being on, we think of the early Scream recordings, or even when Dave joined the band. I mean. Yeah. He came in.
Well, Skeeter says, ask him how many drummers we tried out before we got Dave Grohl.
He said it was 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, his memory is better than not mine, but I do know that we went through these songs one after another because Dave knew them all. He fucking knew all.
That helps
because he was such a big fan, and Story in particular. Because Dave was just killing it back then, breaking drums every time he played them. He's the only guy I've ever known. He broke a 24-inch ride in a couple shows. He cracked the fucking 24-inch ride. And any drummers out there, they should know how hard that is to do. And
yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing to crack. It's one thing to crack a crash cymbal. But to break a ride, right?
A 24-inch ride. It was as big as a kick drum. It was huge. And he's like, because he was always into doing, because he always thought he had to hit really hard. Because maybe he felt he wasn't as good as a drummer. And the way to do it is to fucking like John Bonham and just fucking hang on shit. And I remember, Skeeter would sit him down and go through these exercises of making him slow things down. So he wouldn't break so many cymbals. But I remember that Ski would, took him to the side and would, do these exercises with him to bring him down and just to rock steady, you know what I mean? And especially for the reggae stuff.
Sure.
And then moving on to, we spoke of the new record that we just did and just the whole production involved in that. I mean, not only did we do the 17 songs in 10 days, but my wife, Sal, who provided all these, a lot of these photos that you've been putting up, she did this whole documentary of the production. And we have like 21 interviews. We have hours of footage, photos. And, at some point, we're trying to put this together. And you being a filmmaker, if you know any good editors out there, let us know.
Wait, I'll show you something. Hold on. Ugh. I'm in the middle of this friggin' mess right here. This is when I have a moment. This is from 1994. Is a box of when I was working with Biohazard. It's a box of high 8, all Biohazard stuff that I shot, that I was involved in making of their record from 1994, and I'm in the process of transferring it and labeling it and dealing with it. It is a massive project.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be expensive transferring all that shit.
No, I bought all the stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Made the investment.
But yeah, we want to, at some point we'll get this doc out. Just
is it a Scream doc?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Scream doc, and it's a doc of this final recording at Inner Ear. It's both those things.
Okay.
And you will see that in the interviews that we did, or she did, and speaking to the studio, speaking to the production at hand, speaking to the history of the studio and Discord and just everything.
Who quarterbacked it? Who had the vision? Your wife?
She had the vision for the production, yeah, for the filming, absolutely.
Put her in an edit room.
Yeah.
It's hard because maybe I feel that knowing the footage helps when it comes to editing, as opposed to giving someone all these tapes and going, here, edit something. You know, it's like,
right. Well, it certainly won't be anything that we just hand off. I mean, we're going to definitely have to be over the shoulder, and I mean, I want to be a part of it, and she wants to be a part of it. Obviously, there's a lot to go through, as you well know.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
It's going to be really cool because it highlights all the cast of characters that played on this record and just even showed up,
I have, I think I ran through all the photos. I think you ran through. This is Mike Reedy?
Michael Reedy from Raz. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he oh my God, that's a story in itself. Because I had this song that I wanted to do, I'd written, and the first person I thought of was Michael Reedy. And for those who don't know, I mean, Raz was an awesome rock and roll band in DC in the late 70s and into the 80s. And one of the few bands that I could go see when I was underage, because they would play at this club in Virginia, and I was able to sneak in there and see them there. And that's, going back to unsung heroes. I mean, fucking Raz, those guys, they should have been huge. So I had this song, and he was one of the people I had thought of. And through this documentary that we did, I got hooked up with him, and which is a crazy story in itself, because he's got this gravelly voice and he calls the internet and computers the devil's box, and you can't call him on the phone. He has no cell phone. I was talking to him at 3 a.m. about this song, and it was like conference call because his girlfriend Stephanie.
It's like it's like some Unabomber shit. It's like technology is evil. Technology is evil. It's and they're both 100% right about the whole thing.
Which leads even more to the song, because here I am, I'm on the phone with Michael Reedy, my hero, and I spoke to that about the Devil's Box, and I'm like, you're just a regular Howard Hughes, and he just started riffing on lyrics with Howard Hughes in it to this song, and it was just blowing my mind. And so when it got to the point of us eventually doing it in the studio, his girl told me that, he had some bouts with cancer, and he really couldn't sing anymore, and he didn't want to sing, and he was worried about it. And so miraculously, I had the song with Joe Lally in mind, and that's who I wanted it to be. Joe, me, Joe Lally, Michael Reedy. But anyway, we didn't end up doing it. We ended up doing another song with Joe Lally called the Flam, which is fucking amazing. And Joe was just, first time working with Joe Lally is such a treat, because he's such a muso. And obviously, the man behind Fugazi, the rhythm section there. So, and But Michael did come down. He came down to the studio. He ended up singing background vocals on a track, a gang vocal on a track, and just him himself. You know, we documented, we interviewed him, shot some footage of him, and his stories were just insane. So, you know, it just lends to going back to the whole doc. I mean, I hope we can get this thing together and out, because it's just insane, all these people that were there. I mean, it still blows my mind that we did this.
Hey, if off the record, if there's anything I could do to help with the doc, you know, call me and I'll give you some perspective, you know, on my experience, and you know, I've done a bunch of them.
I appreciate it, because it is quite overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I could give you a little perspective on what I would do or whatever. If you want to have a conversation about it at some point.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, so we had that going on, and you know, at the same time, the whole production, it was, like I said, it was very overwhelming, because, you know, Skeeter and them, they didn't really know these songs except what we were sending them through file. Yeah. And Pete and I out here working during the whole, you know, pandemic, coming up with these songs, you know. And
Sal says, yes, we do.
Yeah. I wrote all these songs, and Pete laid his wonderful lyrics and vocals on them. And so then we go to DC, and we just like pre-pro'd the record. Right. We jamming with the guys for the first time. And then we get into the studio, and we have to do it all. And at the same time, I'm trying to schedule people in and out of the studio, who's going to play on what song. So I was wearing all these hats.
That's a real dance.
It was such a fucking dance. And by the time I came home, I was just destroyed. And, you know, I'm still suffering from it. We're in the middle of mixing. I've been going back and forth to DC, you know, and mixing with Ian, and which has been really cool. Had some really good sit downs with Ian, which I'd never had before, and I don't think Ian had either.
Right.
My dog is what? You're my dog. Let me go let him out real quick.
All right, sure. We'll take a sponsor break. Why don't we do that? This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Once again, we are sponsored by Blah, 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 and New York Hardcore Comics. They opened back in 2013 when lifelong friends Dewolfe Pro and Lee Fairley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys and statues, magic, the gathering, and all things horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in lovely Dobbs Ferry, New York. Open 7 days a week and shipping worldwide. Contact them via email at newyorkhardcorecomics@gmail.com or www.newyorkhardcorecomics.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you ready, Franz? I see you, bro. There he is.
I don't want to influence kids.
Yeah, no, let's play it straight, baby.
You play? I see the acoustic guitar behind you. Play that a lot?
Oh yeah, we got a show coming up.
Yeah.
I do. We're doing a private show. We had the Drew Stone Hit Squad going for a couple years, where we had Cato Reardon from the Pogues in the band with us, and a couple other people. Yeah, we do like acoustic based, couple covers, a couple originals. But you know, the pandemic sort of put an end to that, and this is the first show. It's actually me, Tristan from Incendiary Device, and Aaron Collins from Butterbrain. We're doing someone's private show in a couple of weeks.
Wow,
So
you're a busy man.
I just put a new film out too, you know. So yeah. So why did Scream take a hiatus in the is that safe to say in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, we basically kind of broke up in a way. I mean, some people were dealing with some issues, and we kind of broke up and on tour while we were in Los Angeles.
Ooh, it happened right out there on the ball field, huh?
On the ball field, in the middle of the game, 8th inning.
It happens, bro. It seems like everybody that's been on the show lately has the same, like Jerry from Poison ID was just on. He's like, yeah, we were out there and it just happened. Bam.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
those were easier, simpler times, man.
They kind of were. And we had to, it all kind of fell apart. And luckily, our sister, Sabrina, was living in Los Angeles at the time. So we all kind of slummed it at her house on the couch till we figured out what we were going to do. And actually, Scream, prior to that, we'd always talked about moving to LA because we wanted to do more with our music, and tour more and put out more records. And that just wasn't Discord's policy. That's one of the reasons why we did the record with Ross,
right?
Because we wanted to keep doing records, and Discord is select in what they do in the releases, and they don't just it's not like a normal label,
right?
So with that said, we'd always talked about moving to LA, and then that summer comes where we're actually out on tour, and it all kind of falls apart. But my brother and I, we stay in LA. We stay in LA because my sister lives there. And
is that the segue to this?
That is the segue to that.
Well, there you go.
And it took a while to get our feet on the ground, going back and forth to DC or whatever. But we finally made the transition to living in Los Angeles. And of course, my brother and I wanted to keep doing music, and we created this new band called Wool that everybody can see.
Yeah, and there is a contingent of people that really, really love the stuff that you and your brother did, and also Peter from Government Issue, Peter Moffat was in Wool too, right?
Yeah, the first iteration, absolutely. Yeah,
and Chris Bratton, right?
Absolutely, he was the second iteration of the band. So with that said, I mean, it wasn't. We just couldn't do Scream anymore. So it wasn't like we actually said, okay, we're breaking up. But we did put that Scream mantle down for a bit. But actually, Wool is just a continuation of Scream, just with different members, because it's my brother and I. At least that's how I kind of look at it.
Sure.
What
I know, was it?
This is actually the second record, though.
Yeah, right. But this was the record that was on London Records, correct?
Correct. Was
that an exciting moment?
We did it. We got a major label deal.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Was it like? Was it? We've arrived. We've reached the promised land.
You think you have? You get a check to go buy some gear. I could finally go buy some gear. Yep. We all did. And they put us on some really great high-profile tours. Playing with Faith No More and all these other bands.
Sure.
So you think you're on your way, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we did Bud Spawn prior to that record. We did, an EP prior to this record, out on Bungalow Records through the guy Rob and Tom. Rob is and the guy that's actually mixing the new Scream record. So it's never gone out of that circle, because Rob's an old DC guy. And now he's mixing some of this record. It's very weird in a way.
People that are tried and true that you can count on.
Yeah, and you're familiar with.
No, Wool has a contingent. When I was talking to people that you're coming on the show, a lot of people brought up Wool. Was like, man, I fucking love that band. Like, here's Steven Messina. He sent this picture. He's like, man, I pulled out my Wool CDs,
Oh, he's not in the car.
Yeah. Well, no, he sent me this picture from this morning.
I know.
Yeah.
There you go. Those are And there's
when was the last time Wool played under the moniker? When was the last time you played under the moniker Wool?
It was at a small club in Hollywood, and the name escapes me right now. Maybe if Pete's still on, he could chime in, or maybe somebody else could chime in. The last show would have been 96.
Okay, going back a little ways.
Oh yeah. I wish I could remember the date.
Speaking of little clubs in Hollywood, just sort of making a sharp kind of turn here. What's happening with the Stahl brothers here in the Viper Room?
We did that during the pandemic at the
Uh-huh.
Viper Room, and it was a benefit that to raise money. I think it was part of CORE, Sean Penn's thing, because we ended up doing that, and we played at Dodger Stadium, and
Wow.
it was a live event. The whole thing was a live event, and it was going on through all these different clubs across the country. And we were at the Viper Room, and they actually were artists at the Whiskey on that same day playing. And so, like, we would sit there, we'd have to wait for the one show to end across the street, and then they could come back to us. But that's an acoustic thing we did during the pandemic, and we were the only people there was us, the film people, and a few people. There was no audience for those. It was all streamed live.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. And what sort of repertoire when the two brothers sit down? What's in the repertoire? Is it a little of this, a little of that?
Actually, we were playing some of the new songs that are on the Scream record, the acoustic versions of them. Yeah.
When you write, do you write on an acoustic?
I write both. It depends. It depends, what's in my hand, but I did most of it on my trusty Taylor acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
But it usually comes from me coming up with a riff or whatnot, and it's done on guitar, and some of it's done on the piano, which I played more, which I wish I played more of. But
Do you have a piano in your house?
I have one right behind me.
Of course, keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah. I do not own a piano though, but I wish I could play it better.
So Scream takes a breather. Wool gears up. Dave goes and joins Nirvana, right? Yeah. Did Scream have any overlap with Nirvana? Did you guys ever play shows together, or was it just like he got a call out of the blue because they were fans of the Scream records?
No, actually, they were a hit to Dave early on because we did a couple shows. We were out, we played in Seattle and San Francisco, out, places out west. Mm-hmm. And, people like Buzz, the Melvins, and Kurt himself, they'd seen us play before. Those guys were fans of Scream. And that's how they got hip to Dave. And it was actually through that friendship with Buzz and Dave and us that, once he saw what was going on with Scream, he told Dave, hey, there's this band up north that's looking for a band. And because I forget where we were playing in San Francisco, but they definitely came down and saw us play. And that's where they saw Dave and put the seed, I guess. We
need a young kid that can hit really hard. Right? We need a young kid who's ready to go all in. And he has to hit really hard, right?
Yes. I don't know what the story was behind Chad, but they definitely needed a new drummer, and Dave became the drummer. Yeah.
And Dave, the Nirvana hand plays out. Dave starts Foo Fighters, and at a certain point, he puts in the call. And is that right? Legend would have it. Is it true you flew in, rehearsed once with Foo Fighters before you played like Radio City Music Hall or something?
Absolutely. I was, so after Wool ends and I'm still in Los Angeles, I happened to get this gig with a Japanese artist.
Jay. Right.
Jay.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Jay comes from this band called Lunacy, which they're like the fucking Rolling Stones of Japan. They play Tokyo Dome. They sell out Tokyo Dome several nights.
Wow.
It's a huge thing. And Jay was like the punk rock kid in the band. And he was he knew much about the DC scene and punk rock. And he was doing a record out here in Los Angeles. And my buddy Scott Garrett, another circle here, Scott Garrett from Dag Nasty and The Cult, he played on that record. And I came down and hung out. And they were... Jay was looking for another guitar player to go on the road, and my name got thrown in the hat, and it helped that I was hanging out. And then lo and behold, I get this gig to play in Japan and do this tour. So I go over and I go to Japan.
This was 1996.
97.
97.
96, 97.
96. Okay.
It was definitely 97. And so I go to Japan, and I'm doing this tour with this Japanese band, except for Scott and I were the only two Westerners in the group. And I get a call from my brother, who was tour managing for the Foo Fighters at the time. And he's like, hey, dude, there's some stuff going down. I think Pat might
there's some stuff going down out on the ball field. Right?
Yeah, out on the ball field.
Another one out on the ball field.
Yeah. And it's like, you might get a call from Dave. And I'm like, all right. And then sure enough, I'm in my hotel room and Dave, calls me and, hey, you want to join the Foo Fighters? I need a guitar player. I was like, you have to twist my arm. And I said, yes, I definitely want to do it, but I got to finish out my obligation here, obviously. So I finished that tour, flew out the next day. I came to LA, had time to, grab my bags, whatever, and then fly to New York. Get together with them like the next day, jam on, the one song. And then the next day I'm fucking up on Radio City Music Hall. Here's a new member of the Foo Fighters. And my head was just completely spinning at that point.
And that was they were heading out to support the Color and the Shape tour, right?
Correct.
That record just came out, and like a year's worth of shows are booked, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
you want to go on the road for the rest of your life is basically what it was. But yeah, no, that's what we did. We worked both those records, the first one and the Color and Shape.
Right. And then you go out there, and I know you play. Don't you play on the track on the Godzilla soundtrack?
The Godzilla track, A320. I do that one.
And the X-Files track, right? Walking After You. Yeah,
we re-recorded that. Those are the two, and they're both soundtracks to movies.
Yeah, big movies too.
Yeah. Cool.
Thomas says Franz joined Foo Fighters around the same time as Taylor Hawkins. Rest in peace. Is that right?
Absolutely. It was. He'd been in the band a while before, but and sadly, I don't know if you guys watched any of that tribute yesterday. Did you see any of it?
I saw some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Insane production. All those people that played. But I'd actually met Taylor prior to being in the Foo Fighters.
He played with Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, played with Alanis. And I met him, through one of my wife's associates at work was dating him, and we were hanging out at his house and used to get together and hang out with him. And I would go there and jam with him, and maybe Cheney would be there, whoever, or what's his name from Jane's Addiction? Steven.
The
drummer.
Perkins. Stephen Perkins.
So when I joined the Foo Fighters, he had not been in the band that long either. And he actually kind of got hip to the Foo Fighters through our associations in a weird way. But yeah. So there you go.
So that roller coaster goes on for a couple years. The hand plays out, and then you end up back with Jay for like 7 years and living in Japan. Is that right?
Well, I wasn't necessarily living there, but I might as well have been. I mean, I was going there.
Where was he based? Osaka?
Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo.
He's based out of Tokyo. And
do you like Japan?
Oh, I love it. Japan. Have you ever been?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's the most amazing place.
Yeah, I went there a couple of times when I was managing bands. I went there with Biohazard when they were at the peak of their popularity. We went over there, and it was really amazing.
Place in the world, countries in the world, and so after I left the Foo Fighters, we were living in Austin, my wife and I, and our child Nico, and I was like, what are we gonna do? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, I got to go back to LA because, as we spoke about film production earlier in this or before this, I was a PA in Hollywood. That's how I was working
Wow.
PA and working in the art department. So anyway, I had to go back to LA.
Brother, we're kindred spirit. We're kindred spirits, bro.
Local 399, local 44 too. And so when I went back to LA, oddly enough, Jay's main band, Lunacy, they had broke up. So Jay was like, well, I'm just going to do my thing, my solo thing again. And I want all original guys. So he called Scotty and I up, and we end up going back over there for the next 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, I would go over there anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks at a time, like 4 months out of the year.
And he's a beloved figure over there.
Yes, he's a beloved figure. He's an uber star. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, it took a while, but initially, I mean, it's like being in the fucking Beatles over there. I mean, people literally chasing me down the street. It was crazy.
Wow, that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just did that for 6 or 7 years and traveled all over Japan. Did a bunch of records with them.
Any just wondering, any parts of Japan like you really grew to love? Like any parts you were like, man, I love Nagoya, any I love Osaka because it reminds me of Blade Runner. You know?
Well, if you want to talk about food, then you can, because every region, every city, like there's Sapporo ramen, there's Nagoya ramen, there's Tokyo ramen. I always loved Tokyo. I always loved Shibuya, where basically I was, holed up at for the majority of the time. But I don't think there's a place in Japan that I didn't like.
Did you learn the language at all?
I did learn the language, a limited version of, and I forgot most of it now.
Right.
Unless I'm, speaking to somebody Japanese, it starts to come back. But yeah, no. And I actually took a class, when I was home at one point, but I learned more Japanese by being there.
Yeah.
And soaking it all in and really listening how people spoke. It's the best way to do it.
Which is, from what I understand, there's a lot of like regionalism in the language as well. Like people from, up north, like their dialect is very different than the people down south and hard to understand. It's like.
Absolutely. No. And to that point, it's very much like that. I would say Tokyo reminds me of the East Coast, in weather. It reminds me of New York City.
Sure.
And to your point, people in Osaka, they actually kind of frown, people in Tokyo kind of frown on people from Osaka because it's like the South. They're like Southerners, and their language and their delivery is different. And it's just like that, like being from the city and talking to somebody in the South, in Georgia or something.
Yeah, sure.
Like that,
Yeah. I remember that. I remember sort of when we went over there, it was like, I got the sort of the lay of the land.
Right.
Yeah. Let me take my last quick sponsor break, and we'll come back. Let's take some questions from around the world. Okay.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Franz Stahl from Scream, formerly of Foo Fighters, Wool, Jay. If you have any questions, please post them up. Let's do a little sponsorship stuff. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Generation Records, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Dewolfe Publishing, and DTFM Vinyl Distro. It's a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's Industrial District. Shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal. Come on now, last but not least, Dewolfe Publishing is a completely independent publishing house formed by authors Amy Yates Wolfing and Stephen D. Lodovico in Philadelphia in 2014. To date, they've released 5 books on widely ranging topics, including graffiti culture, American ska and reggae, punk zine culture, and the soon-to-be published memoir of Adrenaline OD. Their mission is to preserve and curate subculture and its history. Get your face out of that friggin' phone and get it into a book at www.dewolfepublishing.com. Speaking of the Adrenaline OD book, on Friday, November 4th, here in La Ciudad de Nueva York, Adrenaline OD is coming to town. It is a book signing and an event at the Bowery Electric. Tickets are on sale now. They are playing. We happen to be playing with them on this bill. It is Adrenaline OD, Fear Gods, and Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. So there you go. That is Friday, November 4th. It is not free. Buy a ticket, you bum. This one's not free. Everything can't be free. All right? Once in a while, you got to buy a ticket for something. Support. Don't piss me off. You know? That said, I want to also mention the next 4 shows coming up. Sunday, October 8th, Mr. Troy Gregory will be on the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, formerly of Flotsam and Jetsam, Prong, The Witches, The Dirt Bombs, and Crime in the City. Wednesday, October 12th, our old friend Adam Sewell from Monster Voodoo Machine will be on the show. He's also in band management. He was involved with managing Motorhead. There'll be a lot of cool stories here. Wednesday, October 19th, Robbie Steve Davidson, formerly of The Exploited and Billy Bio, will be coming on to talk about his new film, Dick Dynamite 1945. And Sunday, October 23rd, the Powerhouse guys, Eddie and Chris, will be on the show. So lots of good stuff coming up. Also want to mention Women of the Pit are co-hosting this upcoming show. This one is free. It is at the Bowery Electric, a block away from CBGB's. It is the Holiday Slamboree with Sworn Enemy, Spoiler NYC, Daija, Voice of Doom, Concrete Ties, Serial Poets, and Faded Line. That is at the Bowery Electric. New York Hardcore Chronicles, Women of the Pit, and GBT presents the Holiday Slamboree, upstairs and downstairs. What else? Speaking of which, Sunday, October 16th at the Bowery Electric, The Take, No Redeeming Social Value, ID, Live Fast, Die Fast, and Slashes. This is going to be a banger. Free on the Bowery, Sunday, October 16th. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. It is right around the corner. That said, please, any questions for our guest, Franz Stahl, post them up. It is question time. Whatever you got. Let's see what you got. Post up. Let's see.
Now I gotta put
my
glasses on.
No, I'll read them. Hold on. I gotta sort through them, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a cool one. Chris Spiky Goldbox says, does he remember the rave at Miami's Bayfront Park in 1993 when Rage Against the Machine, House of Pain, and Wool played? My local band at the time, Collapsing Lungs, was fortunate to open. Talk about a diverse crowd.
Oh my God. No, Chris, I don't remember that particular show, but I remember that tour that we did with House of Pain.
What was that? House of Pain and Wool?
House of Pain, Wool, and Rage jumped on and off, I think, because I thought we did some with L7, House of Pain and Wool as well. And we did a lot with Rage Against the Machine in Europe, which was fucking amazing. But this particular Miami show, I don't remember, but the one we did at in Maryland is a famous story because what's his name? The singer from there was a big fight. It was what's his name? The DJ
Lethal
from House of Pain. He got into it got into it with one of the bouncers, I think, because I guess somebody was trying to stage out, whatever. And this big fucking fight ensued. And I remember the singer just walking out to the bus, getting up on the bus and reaching and looking for a gun. He grabbed a gun. And he goes, and of course they wouldn't let him back inside, and just a huge riot ensued. And all the kids just went right for the merch booth and stole everything and destroyed tables and chairs. I mean, the whole shut down. So that's the show I remember. But I think it was with L7 and House of Pain.
You know, this photo here, could you give us a little perspective on this photo?
Yeah, that's with Danita and myself, and a thing we did at Dodger Stadium. It was during the lockdown. I told you we did the One Viper Room show, and then we also did this thing, and it was for Sean Penn's core response, I believe it's called, and he did a show to raise money for COVID related things, and we played in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium, and Danita came and played some songs, and my brother and I, and we did some Scream stuff with Clint, one of the other guitar players that has made his way into Scream.
Nice.
And that's where that shot is from. It's from the parking lot of Dodger Stadium.
Love that flying V.
2020, 2021. Yeah, he always plays the flying V.
Jason asks, frequently brothers playing in bands together butt heads. Was there any of that between you and Pete?
Well, absolutely. I mean, nothing of historic proportions like Liam and Noel, but I mean, having a brother in a band is a completely different dynamic than just friends in a band, and it can work for you and it can work against you, because obviously you can get away with a little more and say a little more than you would normally to a friend. But yeah, there's definitely a different dynamic, and we certainly butt heads at times. We still do, and because both of us are very passionate about what we do and the music that we make. But it's gonna send to be in a band with my brother.
I just did a new film with my brother. My brother was involved in the new film that we just put out.
Yeah,
it's like being in a band with your brother, bro.
You know how it is.
And my dad was involved too, man. So it was rough, man. I'm used to the films I've done, like the Alago film and the New York hardcore film and the Boston thing. Like, I sort of had as the director had latitude and longitude to sort of, but once it got rough sometimes, and it's, it was tough. It was tough. Yeah. Different experience, man, Different
experience, yeah. And it goes back and forth, it goes back in a really good way, and also goes, it can go south in a pushy way because we're brothers, and it's just being back home in the backyard playing football. He's killing me.
Yep. Pat Baldwin asks, how's Ken Stacks doing? Any updates on his health? First class drummer.
Yes, he's doing much better. I believe he's cancer free now. If they didn't find any when they shoot that stuff into you and it glows and stuff, it was gone. And they'd been working on this tumor, trying to knock this tumor out that he had. But he's doing much better. He's still playing with his little cocktail set and in his trio back in DC. But yes, it was a huge scare, because it could have been horribly worse.
Sure. Somebody brought up, how did Wool get involved with Caius?
Well, just through friends of ours out here in Los Angeles, and my brother hooking up with certain people out in the desert, where that whole clique, the Desert Sound, that whole clique of bands was at the time, Caius and stuff like that. And through some friendships, we were able to go out and record at the Rancho de la Luna in 29 Palms. And it was through them that we met up with Caius. I think a little bit had to do with our friendship with Wino and the Obsessed, because he knew all those guys. And that's how we became a part of it in a way. That's how we all met.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a single with Caius, a split single with those guys, and did shows with those guys. Even played one of the generator parties the infamous generator parties.
What was that, like out in the desert?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not familiar with it. What's a generator party?
Well, that's the source of power, is the generator. And
I see. So it's literally a generator party. So let me use my imagination. They drag a generator out into the desert, out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a flash mob thing. And they let everybody know, and they go out there and they do it, right?
Well, back then it would have been word of mouth.
Yeah.
Telephone call, the rotary, you pick up the phone or whatever.
Right.
And it was it was just out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and no rules and nothing but fun. They were fucking crazy parties.
That sounds wild.
Yeah. And so
we used to go shoot out at the desert in Glamis, I shot some of our, when I was doing the extreme sports stuff. We went out to Glamis one, I think it was Thanksgiving. There's the big weekend in Glamis, might have been Thanksgiving weekend, and we went out there and shot a bunch of stuff. Yo, it was like Sodom and Gomorrah out there, bro. It was absolute, like, people bring like the couch, and they like put a chain to it, and people are like on the couch drinking, and someone's driving 70 miles an hour while they're on the back of the couch. Like, it was just crazy, man. Dangerous too. Dangerous.
It was totally like that, and it preceded Burning Man and all that craziness. But
our good friend and supporter Astoria Lou asks, when will the new Scream album be released? Looking forward to hearing and getting it.
As soon as possible. I mean, it looks like it'll be 2023. I can't say spring. I'd like to say springtime, summer. I know Soulside's record just came out. It's coming out, and it seems to be coming out sooner than everybody thought, because there's this whole backlog of vinyl, that whole thing. I don't know if you know about that. It's very
I do.
Yeah, it's very hard to put a record out right now.
Yep.
Eli, there he is.
Yep.
We call him Hollywood. He doesn't have his sunglasses on though.
Right. And this is in Poland.
Yeah, this is at the Lublin show in Poland. Yeah.
Right on.
So sometime in the new year is about the best I can say. We're still in the process of mixing it.
Yeah.
And we will dutifully notify everybody.
Take your time, bro, because by the time it goes to the record pressing plant, you got another 8 months to sit on your ass.
I hope it isn't like that. It's like
it's opening up a little bit now, man. It's opening up a little bit now.
Well, it must be. I mean, apparently you have to be on some list to have your vinyl.
Yep.
Made and yada yada yada. I don't know anything about it. So hopefully we can get pushed up in the chain. But I mean, there's nothing we can do now anyway, because the record's not finished.
Yeah.
So
and you can't be like, hey man, it's going to be done. Can we take a place in the line?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's where we're at. But certainly everybody will know when it comes out.
Damien says, Screamer, the most underrated DC band by a long shot. All right. Underrated? To some.
To some, maybe. Yeah.
Others,
I appreciate the shout out.
Yeah. I'm looking for, hold on. We heard from I'll have to touch on the Boston stuff here, where I saw Al Baril. Al Baril, where are you, Al? I know I saw. Al Baril asked about how'd you get involved with the Boston with DYS? You did some DYS stuff. How'd you get involved with DYS and playing with our old friend Dave Smalley? Oh, here you go. Al Burrell from SSD Control. How about the DYS years?
Well, just through mutual friends, I'd met Jonathan out here in Los Angeles, and it was just like, hey, we're gonna do some stuff. You want to play guitar? You want to come in? It was actually, he had some shows lined up, and he asked me if I wanted to do a couple shows.
And we played as those. I think we played some of those shows with you, right?
I think you did. So initially, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go out and play a couple shows. And then it just turned into like he started booking more and more shows, and then we started doing a little bit of recording. Shout out to Bridge 9.
Yeah, man.
And they put that stuff out. And that's basically how it happened. It was just like at a party somewhere in LA, and there's Jonathan. Hey, we need a guitar player. You want to do a couple?
And Smalley, you, him, and what's Al playing drums, right?
Al Fanish played drums.
Yeah. Right.
Currently living in Arizona. And Adam Porras, the other guitar player.
Yep.
Boston boy. Boston kid.
Remember when we played in LA together and the show sort of melted down into a melee?
Absolutely.
You know what? I have the clip. I have the clip. You ready?
Yep.
You make an appearance in the clip because I dedicate the song to you. The song the camera swings around to you. Here, check
out of here.
Check this out.
And this goes out to the guys at DYS.
Here comes the melee.
That's fucking hilarious.
We're going to take advantage of this chaotic opportunity. This is a Black Flag song called Rise Above.
So funny how you like trying to get the drummer's attention, you just kick the fucking drum. That's like what my brother would do. My brother would just come over and fucking smash something.
You know what? I love REA when he was playing with us, but he was a drummer that has a tendency to play with his head down. And and I would say to him, bro, keep your eyes open, will you? Shit, yeah. I'm out there in front getting the crap kicked out of me.
Yeah.
And you're down, and it's like, just try to pay attention, will you?
Yeah. If anything, look at the bass player. So you guys are on scene.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you kicking the drum, the kick drum. It's hilarious.
Yeah, well, that's
good times.
Yeah. Let me see what else I got here as we head down. Anybody got a question? We're heading down the home stretch. So that said, here's another one of you and your brother. This looks like at a beer garden or something. What's going on? Where's this? Is this Poland at the beer garden?
Oh, that's out at Pappy and Harriet's in the desert.
Oh.
And my brother's band, the Earthlings, was playing. We were out there.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out in Pioneer Town. Yeah.
Out in the desert.
In the des, as we lovingly call it.
Yeah. And here's that Les Paul, that legendary Les Paul in action.
There it is.
Yeah. Who's that playing drums? I can't.
Who is that playing drums? It's Derek playing drums.
Ah. There you go. The infamous.
Wait a minute, what is that from?
Hold on. I'll put it back up. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Fuck.
Earthlings? Maynard says Earthlings.
No, that's DYS. That's Al playing.
That's Al. You're right. That's Al. You're right. That is Al. You're right.
I feel like Derek a little bit. I can.
Yeah, you're right. That is Al. Yep. Let me see. Anybody else?
Nobody wants to talk to me.
Yeah. Does he consider himself Virginia, DC, or LA band? Well,
what?
I guess Scream's a DC band.
Scream is a DC band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or DMV band. DC, Maryland, Virginia, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Certainly not an LA band.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, thanks for coming by, man. It was
Thanks for having me. This has been amazing. It's
fun chopping it up, man, with
you.
It's been a couple of years, you know.
It has been. I hope it's not a couple more. We'll be out there soon playing. Yeah. We'll be hooking up.
Let's play together, man. When you guys just let me know. You guys want to do New York? You know, come do the Bowery Electric. Come play one of our special shows. You know.
That was the last place Scream played in New York. Was at the Bowery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's Pat saying? Scream with Chuck Treese filling in? Chuck Treese? Never seen a band that seemed more genuinely happy to be playing music with each other. Did Chuck sit in with you guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's
like another go-to guy. It's like, fuck, we need a drummer. Call Chuck Treese. Fuck, we need a guitar player. Call Chuck Treese.
No, he played with us at the State Theater in Falls Church for a Scream show we did there. He was involved in the pre-pro, the record we just did. I mean, he came and helped us out. Yeah. That guy doesn't stop playing. He's always playing. If you follow his Instagram.
He's a workhorse, man.
He's a workhorse. Yeah.
Yeah. Maynard says, love you, Franz. Love to all of you. There you go.
You as well. But
this is a good question. Do you have a favorite era of touring? Like you've toured in many decades. Was there an era that was like a favorite era? I guess it depends on, you know. Can I answer that one for you? Can I try to answer that one a little bit? You ready? You know, I think I love touring. You know, when I was in Jay's band, I loved touring Japan. It was just great. The people appreciated the music. They loved it. They were kind. They brought gifts, and I just loved Japan. How was that?
There you go. I would say the 80s in Europe, you know, early on.
Right.
It was quite the experience playing at Squats and just.
Oh, boy.
It was very rough at times, but just
Scream went over there and did sort of like that circuit of like, tonight we're playing the Squat in
yeah, I mean, we were doing that.
Bremen.
we were doing that way before any DC band was doing it, and in fact, we were one of the few bands over there at the time. It was either us, DOA, Black Flag, Toxic Reasons. Wow. No Means No. And those were the bands that were fucking playing across Germany that I remember.
Right.
There were others, but we were always over there. And this was early on when you were fucking booking shows with a telephone box and a stolen credit card. For those that remember.
We laugh about that. Funny you should bring that up. We laugh about that on the show quite a bit. And we just had when Jerry A from Poison Idea, and I've mentioned it before, we used to get the stolen credit cards, and just you get one number and like everybody would have it and would be just banging it out before they knew what hit them.
If you remember, the fanzine Maximum Rock and Roll used to post the credit card numbers like Exxon, Chevron on the back of their magazine.
Wow.
Yeah, on back of Maximum Rock and Roll. My brother booked the whole tour from England using those numbers. And you'd be at the phone box, you'd make your phone call, book your show, whatever, and then you would have to go to another phone box because you wouldn't go back to the same phone box.
Because they'll start calling back, right?
They'll start figuring it out.
You're like, hello, who's this? Nobody. Click.
Yeah, at least so we thought. But those obviously, that era is very special to me because it's my first time in Europe. We did it a lot, and it was us against the world, and just all these little social punk rock communities that we were involved with, and with all these great, issues that they felt passionately about, and playing SWATs in Italy where the police would firebomb the place the day before we played, and then we would come in and play, and half the roof would be gone, and they would be providing us with food, and I could go on and on about Europe. It was that era was very amazing.
It was such an easier, softer time. Hey, Franz, thanks a lot, man. All the best, man. I wish you, you and your brother and Scream and Skeeter, you're always welcome here, man. Thank you for being part of the show today. Anybody you want to shout out?
My band members, all my love to you guys. Let's get this record out, and appreciate and love to everybody who joined in on this today. I hope I was cognizant and answered any questions.
It was great, man.
Some things that you wanted to hear.
Great. I'll talk to you soon, man. Take care.
You will, Drew. Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Our guest today on the New York Hardcore Chronicles was Mr. Franz Stahl. Scream, Foo Fighters, Wool, Jay. It was great. Great show. Great guy. Go way back with him. Thank you. Great guest. We were talking a little bit about film stuff, and here's something that I don't do much, and I probably should do it more often. But if you're sitting at home and you're looking for something to watch, feel free to watch one of my films. I have 4 films that are on Amazon that I directed. Who the Fuck Is That Guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Lago, the New York Hardcore Chronicles film, XXX All Ages XXX, the Boston Hardcore film, and the New York Hardcore Chronicles film 1.5. I believe they are all on Amazon, Amazon Prime and whatever. So maybe one of those tickles your fancy. I might be preaching to the converted here. A couple of these have been out for a couple of years. My new film, The Jews and the Blues, is at the distributor now, doing the festival circuit. It will be available for streaming probably in 2023. Thank you. Thank you. It was. Hey, John, I hope you're well in London, man. Thank you, Gertie. He was a great guest. Nice fella. Mr. Wall Street says, Scream was, is, and always will be my favorite DC hardcore band. Thanks, Drew and Franz. Franz, thank you. Hey, Gary. Love this show. This show loves you, bro. You love this show? The show loves you. As much as you think you love this show loves you more, dude. Seriously. Hey, Skeeter, we got to get you on. Chuck just played with us at Kent's benefit, fool. There you go. Chuck sat in for an amazing show for Flora's birthday. That's right. That's right. Hey, Mary, we got to get Skeeter on next. I got some open dates. Please reach out to me. Hey, Barefoot Mailman. Come on, you guys psyched? You guys are playing. You guys are playing the Bowery Electric, huh? All right. It all happens sooner or later. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. By the way, I want to mention right here on the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, Sunday, October 30th is our Halloween show. We have Damien from Sam Hain coming on the show. Pete Damien Marshall, who was in Sam Hain. He later played with Iggy Pop. He was in a band called Brain Eaters with Joe Truck. They have a re-release of that coming out. This is our Halloween show. So there you go. That said, check that out. That is the Halloween show. There you go. I think we're good. I want to remind everybody that next up, I'll see you a week from Wednesday. Don Fury will be on the show. After that, Paris Mayhew will be on. We'll be talking about our music video collaborations, Onyx Slam and Biohazard and Typo Negative and all the great stuff that we did together. That's going to be a fun show. And rest in peace, Kevin Sia from Bulldoze and Terror Zone. Rest in peace, Kleber and yes, Don Fury. Toasty, rest in peace, Toasty. I'm sorry. The lack of air is getting to me. And yeah, we march on. Show 215. How about the yes? Don Fury is going to be interesting. Yo, we crushed it at this show. We crushed it. What's up, LA? That show was bananas. Bananas. Would you be able to would you be able to do another movie show? Yeah, I got there's a couple coming up, isn't there? There's a couple coming up. You mean about specific sort of movies? But we got a couple things coming up, don't we? We have where is this? We have this coming up. We have Robbie Steed Davidson, who has a new film coming out. He's a film director, and this should be a good one. He actually was the guitar player in The Exploited, and he played with Billy Bio. He has a new film coming out, Dick Dynamite 1945, with everybody in it. It's going to be great. Thank you, Hendrik. We do great shows. Thank you, Philip. Thanks, everybody. What can I say? All right. Thank you, everybody that supported this show. 215 episodes. From the bottom of my heart, I'm very fortunate. I do something that I love doing, and you enjoy it as well. I'm very, very, very fortunate, and I really appreciate it. I mean that. If you're wondering how to support the show, once again, there's a Patreon page there. Get involved. There's a PayPal address there if you want to throw your hat in the ring. But please support the show. Continue to support the show so we can continue to do it. We will not do what they want to do what they say. Where's my I put a spell on you. Screaming Jay Hawkins. All right? I feel bad. I'm not going to see you for a week and a half. What's the name of the new script? Where is it? I just tossed it somewhere. Where is it? Here. I still need to get back in. What did I just do? Here you go. I got to wake up in the morning. I got to reread this. This is Finders Keepers. This is a script, my original script, Finders Keepers, Shauna Kenny. Let's talk about DC Hardcore. She's a DC Hardcore gal. She's involved in the script, and we're trying to wrap it up. I don't know if I want to do another music documentary. I think I want to direct a dramatic film. I think that's next. So, yeah, we'll get Pete on for sure. We'll get Pete on. Absolutely. And we'll get Skeeter on also. You're talking about like literally the Godfather show and the Jaws film. We also did a Planet of the Apes show. That was pretty dope. No, we'll do it again. We'll do it. You know what? We got a minute. What film should we do a show on? If we did The Godfather, we did Jaws. What do you think? I was thinking Apocalypse Now, but it's nice to have someone that's connected with the film or someone that's real, I'd like to do an Apocalypse Now show. I'm a big fan of that film. Oh, yeah. My script is going to be all like everyone you know: Danny Diablo, Vinny Stigma, Peter Green. Everybody's going to be in my film. The Warriors. That's interesting. The Warriors just has been done to death. It's kind of been done to death, but it's kind of cool. We get a story of Lou. We got to get you on for the war. Yeah, Apocalypse Now is a good one. Blade Runner. Warriors always resonates, you know. So that said, yeah, that could happen. I like doing the film. I like doing the film shows, talking film every now and then, breaking it up. Taxi driver, deer hunter. Ooh, it's nice to have somebody that like bring on somebody that's. I just watched Rollerball. We just watched Rollerball. Me and Miss All That and a Bag of Chips. We just watched Rollerball. Jonathan. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. RS-70. Mr. Milas. Clockwork Orange. The Shining would be a good one too. You know. Casino, you know. I mean, we could do like a Martin Scorsese thing where we did like we just did Goodfellas. We just had the kid on from Goodfellas. You know, we did a horror special with Dave from Dog Eat Dog, but we could do another one. Death Race 2000. You know, I just started watching that and I turned it off. I got bored. It was like Death Race 2000 doesn't hold up very well. It was like, The Wanderers, King in New York, you know. We need somebody who's like real, like, you know, fucking, you know, so-and-so is like a fanatic when it comes to Apocalypse Now, you know. No, I never saw They Live. I never saw it. Nope. Never saw it. Put a spell on me. Bronx Tale. We just did a Bronx Tale, bro. We had the kid on the show, bro. Come on, go back and watch it. Return of the Fly. Good call. It's a good call. I love that. I love the David Cronenberg Fly movie, right? With what's his name? Brundlefly. Who played Brundlefly? Who was that? Jeff. Love that. And what's her name was in it? Damn. She was pretty. What was her name? Gina Davis. Woo! Yeah. It was great. Go back and watch it. It was with Joseph D'Onofrio, who plays one of the. He's in the film. It's great show we did. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not really my cup of tea, but Jeff Goldblum. There you go, Astorio. Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, that was great. Great film. All right. Anybody else? Anything else I need to know? Anybody watching that? Anybody watching that on is it Netflix? The Lord of the Rings thing? Anybody? We just started watching it. Like, you know, we're big fans of the first 3 Lord of the Ring films. They were great. The 3 Hobbit films were like weakest. But you know, this is already kind of weak. But you know, we gotta watch something. You know. Anybody watch those that Netflix sports series, Untold? Man, Untold. Those are great. Just watch the one about the crooked NBA ref. Anybody watch those? Those are good. Spinal Tap. Love that film. Spinal Tap's hilarious, man. Love that film. Great film. Love Spinal Tap. Absolutely. Oops. All right. Hey. Not going to see you for a minute, so. Yeah, they are great. You talk about the sports stuff? Yeah, they're good. Yeah, watch Untold. Some of them you pick and choose. But watch the Untold episode about the guy that was a marijuana smuggler and he got into boat and car racing. It's a really good story. Really good one. Really good one. Yeah. Some of them are better than others, you know, but I just watched the one about the crooked the girlfriend one was lame, bro. Yo, what's up with that? Yo, we suffered. It was in 2 parts. What was it? Matateo, the Notre Dame football player who, like, dude, he never even met the girl, and like come on, bro. Something wasn't right there, man. Something wasn't right. Like, come on, dude. You never met her, and like, oh, blue. Like, come on, dude. That shit was lame, man. Something else was going on there. I'm not trying to say, like, you know, but there's a little bit more to that, you know. He got catfished. Dude got catfished. I put a spell on you. Dude got mad catfished. Like, oh, I love you. Like, dude, you never even met her. It was like another guy, like, acting like a girl, and this dude threw his whole life away. Like, oh my God. I'm telling you, Mr. Skull knows. We know. You know? Dude got mad catfished, yo. Don't fall for that, people. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Good one, Skeeter. That's a disturbing film. I haven't seen that. You know, we just watched Rosemary's Baby. Damn, that's a damn good film. If you haven't seen Rosemary's Baby in a minute, now I remember seeing it on regular TV, so they cut out all like the really heavy stuff and the nudity, you know? And yo, go watch Rosemary's Baby on whatever it's on. And it's a great film. Roman Polanski directed some great films. You know, Roman Polanski, Chinatown, The Pianist. Roman Polanski directed. Now I know, you know, he might have, you know, whatever with his person. I'm just talking about purely what he directed. I'm not getting into, whatever he, whatever. Not going there, you know. What's that, Riley? A Serbian film did turbing? Come on, speak English, bro. Come on, Riley. I know you're up in Troy, New York, you know, and there's a lot of incoming flack. But come on, speak English. You know. Hey, by the way, if you're out in Seattle, we are playing out in Seattle with Fang. There it is. It's going down. ID. Saturday, October 8th. Take Warning presents at Lucky Liquor. Fang, FCon, ID, and the Scoffs. What's the date on that? October 8th. And then the next day after that, we are playing in Portland. We are playing Crash Fest with a host of many others, including The Take and Doug and the Slugs and Fang again. So we, Incendiary Device, you know it's going to jump off tonight. Friday, October 7th. So that's happening out in Portland, Oregon. Let me see. Newborn porn. That's all I got to say. Ugh. Okay, gotcha. Come to Texas. Yeah, man. We'll make it down there. Hey, Kenny, did you hear we were talking about Glamis today on the show? I mentioned Glamis. Kenny Clark was with us in Glamis. Where's my Glamis? Hold on. Glamis Desert. It was like lunacy, man. Here's the Stone Brothers. Here we're shooting in Glamis, in the Glamis Desert. Talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. There we are. Me on the right, my brother on the left in the Glamis Desert. Oof. Yeah. Non-stop wrecks. Dangerous out there, too. People get so hammered out, and they're like, oh, behind the wheel. Fucking dangerous, man. I don't think they don't. Do they still do Glamis, Kenny, like that? They can't have it be going on like that anymore, man. No way, Jose. Oh, here it is. Wow, Kenny Clark, you're in this picture. This is us that night in Glamis when we were, I think we were shooting Urban Streetcar Warriors. We shot Yeah, boom. There you are. There we are, Glamis. That's me, Kenny Clark. My brother's in there. Yeah. Yeah, they don't do it like that. That's us in Glamis. Yep. Dangerous, man. Dangerous shit, man. Glamis. You just hope you like survive the weekend, man. Dangerous. Dangerous. All right. Let's clear the deck. All right. There you go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Once again, great seeing you. It's going to be a little bit, but we'll be back with Don Fury. Until then, do good things and good things will come to you.